What do we have for Sag, please? Eight of Swords, Gemini energy at the foundation of the reading, Sag. And this most definitely speaks on the download that I have been receiving for all of you. I feel that this is an energy that has began to dissipate from your life based on this eclipse. Right now, from the time of this reading, it is a full moon, and I feel that something has been released from your life. I want you to think back to the eclipse that took place on August 21st, 2017. Who were you with? What struggles were you going through in your life? Because whatever took place underneath that eclipse created some sort of an event in your life that has gotten you to where you are in this very moment. Some sort of karmic cycle opened up that I feel allowed you to elevate. A lot of you may have undergone a massive spiritual awakening 6 months to a year after that time in your life. Some of you might have been in really toxic romantic connections with individuals that you don't even know anymore. Individuals that are not even on the same timeline as you. You've come a long way, Sag, since then. The way you perceive life isn't even the same anymore. It's as if you just stepped through a portal into another world, a new world, a world where you are finally in control of your own reality. You feel in control of your destiny. This Eight of Swords at the foundation here is indicating to me that you have been released from some sort of restriction, some sort of lesson. It's an energy of freedom. And I feel that as of this very moment, you may be feeling a sense of relief. It's as if the individuals or individual that was in your life during that period of time have been haunting your memories, haunting your every move in life. But you feel this starting to release from you now. All of a sudden, you feel free. Some of you, quite possibly, may have done several cord-cutting rituals. You may have prayed to have this individual or individuals that have been inside your energy, haunting your every move, removed for good. It's as if you have been trying to let go of someone or something desperately, and it's been practically impossible. But now, Sag, your path has been cleared. The lessons you've needed to learn have been learned. Whether or not this is something that you're actually able to compartmentalize and process right now, I feel that moving forward, you will start to get perspective over this particular situation. I feel that a lot of you had somebody or somebody's come into your life right around that time that were sent through by the universe to teach you some lessons, because these lessons were necessary to get you to where you are right now. And this isn't to say you necessarily did anything wrong, Sag. It's just indicating that the universe decided that it was your time, but there was a couple of last pieces of wisdom that you needed to collect before you stepped into this new timeline that you are in full charge of right now. What do we have at the sacral? Too many cards. What do we have at the sacral, please? Ace of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy at the sacral. This is reiterating what I just said about you starting to get clarity, you starting to have a better understanding, perspective over this situation that you're graduating on from now. A lot of you have been tortured by the memory, the thoughts of some of these people. It's like you just can't get them out of your energy, and there's been a reason for this. I can definitely relate to this particular message myself, Sag, because I've gone through this. And, you know, I recently did a pretty big prayer around the last new moon, and I was praying to release certain energies that I just couldn't get out of my auric field. And I got to tell you, ever since this eclipse and this particular full moon that we're under right now, I feel a huge sense of relief. It's as if these energies have been eradicated from my auric field, from my energy. Some of these people that I feel you have been haunted with, it's as if they're in your life and they're not even in your life. Several times a day, the thoughts of these individuals just flooding through to a point where it makes you feel like you're going mad. And I feel this is something that ramped up over the course of the past few months, leading to this eclipse because this energy was to be eclipsed from your life. A lot of you are starting to really understand very clearly now with this Ace of Swords, the kinds of people that you will and won't entertain moving forward. And that's really what all this is about. I feel that a lot of you are coming from cycles where you were encompassing a kind of toxic empathy. Now, what this is when you feel compelled to ignore your own needs in order to help another, right? You're essentially selling yourself out. And this is very dangerous. You see, I feel that empathy or compassion for another in some cases can be very toxic if you're not making sure that your own needs are met first. Because what you're doing here is setting yourself up for letdown or sabotage. And this is one of the big lessons that a lot of you have had to learn. Not giving an audience to individuals that would sell you out in a heartbeat for some kind of clout, money, fame. See, this is not a lesson that can be learned overnight. It takes time. It takes perspective. It can take several years to get to a point where the universe feels like you have finally learned your lessons and you can go back out into the world without the danger of getting wrapped up in the same old cycle with the same old individual time and time again. You know, I heard an individual say the other day that if they witnessed one of their enemies having a fall from grace and falling on hard times, they would lend them a helping hand. And I cannot begin to tell you how incredibly dangerous this is. And this is what I consider toxic compassion or toxic empathy. You're essentially lending a helping hand to somebody that would throw you under a bus for some sort of gain. There has never been a time in the history that I've been reading tarot. I've done thousands of personal readings for individuals, and even in my own personal experience, where I have ever heard of a situation like that going well for somebody. It always winds them right back in the same cycle with the same toxic individual, and it's all based off of their own toxic compassion towards another. You're selling yourself out when you do this. And you're also stepping on the toes of the universe. You see, it's very important that you allow karma to unfold in individuals' lives so they learn their lesson and they can grow. This is all about evolution and the development of each and every one of us. And when you are encompassing this toxic compassion and empathy for another, you are essentially saying that you are God to the universe. Now, it took me a while to truly understand that, but now I see very clearly how this works. You need to get out of the way and allow God, the universe, the divine, to work in individuals' lives and get on with yours. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Five of Wands, Leo energy at the solar plexus, following what I just said perfectly. You see, you're in the middle of this major awakening. It really is a energy of rising out of the ashes of the past, a phoenix rising kind of energy. But it's during these periods of time where you're starting to truly understand the lessons you've learned up until this point. A lot of you have had to find yourself again over these past few years because of the damage that a lot of these individuals brought into your life. This Five of Wands at the solar plexus is an energy of feeling very restricted, very powerless to some kind of energy, some kind of restriction. And this is what is being lifted off of your auric field now, Sag. Stop with the toxic forgiveness. Do not open the door to people who tried to break you. They do not just heal from these kind of behavioral patterns overnight. It's a lifelong process. And there's a certain kind of narcissism, I feel, that can be attributed to exactly what I'm picking up here, Sag, right? So it's an energy of individuals thinking that they can fix other people, heal other people before they have done the healing work themselves. And this is something that is very prevalent inside the spiritual community. A very large percentage of the spiritual practitioners that you see, people that are tarot readers that claim to be chosen and all this kinds of nonsense, these people have not done the work on themselves. But they're going to sit there and try to tell you how to live your own life. This is something you also need to be very careful of, Sag. Don't take any advice from people who haven't done the work on themselves. Individuals who tell you what to do, but don't practice those things in their own life, but act like they do, are very dangerous because they're sending you down a path that they themselves have never, ever navigated. So they're essentially using you as a guinea pig. What do we have at the heart, please? Magician, Gemini, Virgo energy at the heart of the reading. Sag, you're getting ready to step into this new timeline where all of the things that you felt were holding you back, all of these visions that you didn't think were possible to actually attain, you'll now align with a certain kind of ease. It's as if all of the restriction has been lifted up off of you and you're free to go. The lessons have been learned. Areas of your life that have felt stuck are going to start moving. And depending on what's being eclipsed from your life, it's going to be different for each one of you out there. That area that you start to feel movement in is the area where the restriction was, because that's the area in your life where the work needed to be done. And interestingly enough, my Venus is in Sag. So I felt very restricted in relationships, romantic relationships, because those were the lessons that I needed to learn. I needed to stop trying to fix and save other individuals in the way that I was, because I was putting these individuals ahead of my own healing. I hadn't done the work yet. And this is something that I needed to have a massive awakening around. So I had to go through a very long period of time in my life being single and working on myself. Now I've gotten to a point where I'm starting to feel the restrictions in those areas release. So now the kinds of people that I'm attracted to in regards to romantic relationships are not the same kinds of people that I was attracted to before I went through the awakening. So now when I look back, I have this sense of awe, like how could I have been attracted to that kind of person? And what that really has allowed me to recognize in myself is that I personally needed to do a lot of healing in those areas. All those individuals were just direct reflections on what I had not healed within self. And I tell you this so you have a kind of example, so you can have a better understanding of the area of your life where this restriction was and what it was the universe was trying to heal you from. But for most of you, it probably is in that sector of relationships. It could even be friends. It could even be family members that you've entertained that have been holding you back, and now you're really stepping into your power, and you don't want any of these people around you. You don't want them in your new beginning because of their toxic influence on how you move. And there's nothing wrong with that, Sag. You know, the word selfish is immediately perceived as something that is negative, but when it comes to being selfish with your own healing and your time, this is positive. You've grown a lot, Sag. You don't feel the need to pour every ounce of yourself into a bottomless void like you once were. You're being selfish with where you put your energy. And because of this, you are going to start seeing massive growth in multiple areas of your life moving forward if you haven't already. And this magician at the heart speaks on everything I just said. It's just you really standing in this position now where you're realizing all of your potential and you're able to actually turn your visions into reality. And Sag, I can't really tell you how incredibly powerful that makes you feel when you're able to do this. I came from a time where I had all these visions, I had all these dreams, but I couldn't actualize any of it. But once you go through this period of healing, what you start to find is The more distance you have between the past and where you are in the current moment, the faster you're able to actualize all those visions. And I'm not just saying that, Sag. Sometimes I think about things that I want to bring into my reality, and it's not even days later that it actually shows up. And it all has to do with your vibration. The key component of manifestation is vibration. You see, to manifest something into your life, you have to become the vibrational match to it. You have to vibrate an energy out into the universe that makes said manifestation want to come directly to you, like a moth to a flame. And this can be said for bringing people towards you. This can be said for bringing materials towards you. Sky's the limit. Now you may hear that and say, wow, that sounds easy enough. But it's not, because what you start to find is your entire environment, the people in it, the behavioral patterns that you hold, all have an influence on your vibration. Even if just in increments, it all adds up. So getting to the point where you can actually be selfish enough with your time to not entertain people who lower your vibration is a massive accomplishment and is by no means easy, especially when this has to do with family, friends. Finally realizing that you quite possibly attracted toxic partners into your life, and now you have to try and break that pattern. This is all very difficult, but the rewards, the payoff of all of this is pure magic, magician at the heart. What do we have at the throat, please? Oh, wow. The Fool, right there at the throat. And this is all following everything I'm saying here. This is a whole new beginning here, Sag, and it's based on this new mindset you have. Moving forward, you are only putting your energy into spaces where there's reciprocity. There's nothing wrong with thinking about every single person that comes into your life with the mindset of, what value does this friendship bring into my life? What value does this opportunity bring into my life? Is it going to hold me back? Is it going to set me back? Or is it going to help me move forward and evolve as a human being? This is further reiterating what I said about being selfish with your time and your energy. This is incredibly important right now, Sag. And this is a very hard lesson to learn, Sag, because a lot of you don't go into relationships, friendships, connections, partnerships, whatever it is, opportunities with this mindset, but you have to moving forward. If you want to see your life evolve, if you want to be a success in your own life, however that looks for you, you have to be mindful where every ounce of your energy is going. And the flip side of this is you actually being somebody of influence. Right? You exude this kind of confidence on your path that now influences others to do the same. This is what this is all about. This new timeline, Sag, is all about taking a chance on yourself. It's time to focus on your own path, Sag, and stop and smell the roses. The universe wants you to enjoy this journey that you're on moving forward without the negative influence of another individual trying to drag you down or hold you back any longer. What do we have at the third eye, please? Too many cards. What do we have at the third eye, please? Eight of Cups, Pisces energy at the third eye. And this is really interesting because we just saw the Six of Swords. So this is you finally being able to let go of the pain, the hurt, the disappointment that was caused by these people who tried to sacrifice you on your path, Sag. And you know, there's many different things that the word sacrifice can pertain to, but just to keep it more grounded in reality here, it's really just speaking about individuals that held you back from something. That's a kind of sacrifice. If you're being restricted from getting on your destined path, then you are being sacrificed. But this Eight of Cups is also really speaking about, you having learned these lessons, you're ready to move on now. And again, I'm just hearing something about the eclipse. I feel that something has just taken place. And I think it's even happened in the past few days. You've just had a perspective shift. You've had a realization, or there's just some sort of energy that is starting to dissipate around you. You're finally able to move on and abandon this old cycle, this energy, this person, this situation, this behavioral pattern, whatever it is for you. There's a kind of a relief, and there's an ease to this now, where in the past it was very difficult for you to get this energy up off of you. There's movement, there's support, and there's an evolution taking place in your life. And for most of you, if not all of you, there's some kind of emotion attached to this, right? Cups, water, emotion. And see how you're holding what can be perceived as your solar plexus there, right? 5 of Wands right there at the solar plexus. It's like you're leaving all of this behind. The restriction, the obstacles. This is just representing everything that was holding you back. What do we have at the crown, please? The Emperor, Aries energy at the crown. I just heard you've arrived, Sag. It's like awakening to who you are, or what your intended path is, or just enough to at least get moving. There's a kind of leadership that you've taken over your life here. And as you can see here, you're sitting on this throne. We're seeing the back of this throne here, and there's this eagle here, right? I was talking about you rising up out of the ashes of the past. And then we see these eagles here as well. It's an energy of wisdom and power and freedom. You've gone through this karmic cycle where you've been burdened by the sins of others. All of this time, the universe has been working on you behind the scenes, refining you. It's this energy of carving you out of stone, right? It's like you go from a cycle of feeling almost forgotten or walked all over, something like this, only to realize that you are the center of your own reality. You are the Emperor. You are the god of your own universe. What do we have at the foundation, please? Justice, Astaroth. Libra energy at the foundation of the reading. There's something here surrounding individuals lacking accountability. A lot of you were haunted or tormented by the memories of some of these individuals because there was a lack of closure. Some of you may have been actually expecting, waiting for individuals from the past to come back and do the right thing by you, but they never did. I actually feel that a lot of these people were actually guided to make right by you. They were given plenty of time, but they can never harness the courage and strength or the willingness even to want to take responsibility for themselves and come forward. I can say, based on my own experience, Sag, that that's obviously very disappointing, especially if you know you were done badly by, because at the end of the day, we just want people to accept responsibility, because it's an indication that they themselves are also on a kind of healing journey. I certainly know when I was going through my awakening, I got that call from the divine. Hey, you got to fix this and that. You've got to do the right thing here and there. And every single download I got in regards to that, I left no stone unturned. Sure, it's difficult. It kind of sucks. It's kind of like when an individual is in a rehab center or they're going through a 12-step program. A part of the healing process is you taking accountability for yourself and reaching out to people that you may have done badly on your path. But what I feel you have witnessed with a lot of people on your path, Sag, is not only did people not take accountability and responsibility, but they are the kinds of people that pretend like they have. And you start to see these people in a different kind of light because you start to understand that there's something truly broken within them. See, it's interesting because these are the kinds of people that lack empathy and compassion, but a requirement for you to be in their life was for you to always be there for them, something that they could never do for you. It's in these moments that you really start to realize that there's something else going on there. They're a different breed of human. These are the narcissists of the world. They don't see fault in anything they do. They double down and they never, ever give up their position. What do we have at the sacral, please? Four of Wands, Aries energy at the sacral. Yeah, these are very ungrateful kinds of individuals. They just don't get it, Sag. But there's something about your dealings with them that I feel allowed you to really find yourself. I know this is the case for me. I think back on some of the most wicked individuals I've ever dealt with in my own life, and how if it really wasn't for them, I don't even think I would be here in the capacity that I am now. I often wonder how my awakening would have happened, because it's a lot of those people, a lot of those narcissists that spark the awakening from within us. Now, this isn't to say you need to give them credit, because they don't know what they're doing. They're just going about life the way they've always gone about life, treating people in a very vile and cruel manner. But I feel that a lot of you just got to a point where there was this repeating pattern on your path. You just started to see that there was a kind of cycle that kept unfolding in your life. You know, a lot of you may have been in relationships with people, and then years later you were in a relationship with another person that was exactly like that other person. They treated you the same way. They held the same sort of wicked behavioral patterns. And these are all signs sent by the universe. They're trying to wake you up to something. A lot of you started to look deeper into that. Okay, why am I attracting this person? And then why did I attract that person? And then why did I attract that next person who was exactly like that person? You start to realize that you're a common denominator in attracting all these kinds of horrible people. You may have even gone through a point in your life where you felt like there was something wrong with you. And there is and there isn't. Now, there isn't something necessarily wrong with you in a negative sense, but there may be something that you need to address that is causing you to attract these individuals, right? I've spoken before about us holding what I call spiritual dents based off of our own trauma. And if you can just perceive little dents on your auric field that are caused by different kinds of trauma you go through in your life, and then people come into your life and they try to fill those little dents. So the individuals you're attracting are mirroring the trauma. And until you do the work yourself, otherwise known as pulling out those little dents, you're going to keep attracting those same individuals. This is a concept that I came up with when I was going through my own awakening, because through a course of balancing my chakra system, I just started to get a visual representation of what I might have been dealing with myself. And so when I started pulling all these spiritual dents out of my auric field, so to speak, as opposed to just putting Bondo or putty in them, right? A quick fix, which is just another individual coming into your life. Did I start to see that I was deflecting these people now? So after I've done the healing work, those kinds of individuals that I used to attract, it's almost as if the trauma that once bonded me to those individuals is gone. And after this kind of healing, this is when you start to find yourself being attracted or attracting individuals that you're truly in alignment with. So moving forward, for those of you that are dealing with these situations in the romantic sector of your life, you may truly start to find that you're not attracted to the same kinds of people. You're attracted to different kinds of people. There's more of a recognition of individual soul as opposed to the physical attributes of somebody. Because the reason I feel for that is a lot of these individuals that you were attracting, Sag, they all wore masks. These are people that are really broken on the inside. They don't know who they are. Some of these people may be too focused on their appearance, which can be a narcissistic trait. There's obviously nothing wrong with focusing on your appearance, but the capacity I'm picking up here is something different, okay? It's a trait that these individuals allow to dictate their entire life, right? So which is Narcissus, Greek mythology, fell in love with his own image that was reflected back to him in a pool of water. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Ace of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sag energy, Azazel at the solar plexus. I just heard they're trying to hide themselves from the world. So it goes back to what I said about them being overly obsessed with their appearance, right? Narcissistic kind of behavioral pattern. But then we see this, demon here, kind of disgusting. It's like this is what they look like on the inside. This is why they're so focused on their appearance, because they're trying to hide who they really are from the rest of the world. Some of the most physically beautiful individuals that I have ever met in my life are some of the absolute vilest human beings that I have also ever known in my life. And it's usually after I realize that their beauty is only skin deep, do I see them in a different light. And now when I think about these individuals, their beauty is non-existent. It's almost like it was all an illusion anyway. It's a kind of spell, glamour spells, right? It was all put on. And this is what I feel you are going to start utilizing in your own life, Sag. It's a way of reading the beauty of someone's soul. What do we have at the heart, please? Ram, Three of Swords, Libra energy right there at the heart. Oh, wow. This is speaking about you releasing this pain, and it's right there at the heart. It's speaking about this recovery process you're going through right now, and things that you once deemed as heartbreaking to you, you're no longer going to perceive that way moving forward, Sag. It's a different kind of you now. You're just not the same person you once were. You've evolved. You've ascended. And this is what ascension is. It's you just finally having this shift in your reality, enough so to where you just aren't affected by the things that once affected you anymore. Some people can call this growing thick skin. But there's no bitterness here, Sag. There's just a different perception. You just truly start to see now that there's us and them. And I feel that this is the realization you're having during these eclipses. And then we have Page of Cups, E-I-Z-L, divine comfort, synchronicity, Sag. There's a whole new beginning here. You're being released. You're free to go. The lessons have been learned. You've harnessed all the wisdom that the universe needed you to take from this situation, this person, this behavioral pattern, whatever it is for you. And now it's time to move forward on your path and take everything you've learned and mold it into something beautiful that you can give back to the collective, however that may show up in your reality. What do we have at the throat, please? We have Ace of Wands in its negative polarity right here, and we have Ace of Wands in its positive polarity right here. Omael, the patient god. Fertility and multiplicity. Protects against despair, helps one be patient. So what I'm seeing here is very clear, and it goes along with what I just said in regards to giving something back to the collective. It's as if you were being held back on your path, right? You weren't able to manifest something, or you weren't able to manifest something in the capacity that you needed to. There was restriction, there was delays. And now here you are, Ace of Wands in its positive polarity, which is all about creation. It's representing a beginning. And here you are charging towards that beginning, right underneath the Fool, on your path, finally able to stop and smell the roses. Fool at the throat. This is speaking about somebody who has a whole lifetime of experience. Whether you're younger or older, middle-aged, it does not matter. Whoever it is that I'm picking up on, you have a lot of experience underneath your belt. And that energy is really being highlighted at this throat position. So surrounding communication, creations. You are using your wisdom to help evolve life. I see each and every one of us as a kind of brain cell in a universal mind, in a universal brain. We are each thoughts of the universe. So take the power of creation into your hands and be a thought that the universal mind will never forget. What do we have at the third eye, please? High Priestess, Iahia, God the eternal lasting, success, protection from magistrates. So this follows what I just said beautifully, because the High Priestess is an energy of intuition. It's all about divine guidance. There's a higher power working in your life, Sag, that is really pushing you to take all of this wisdom. And I just heard work with your subconscious mind, work with your beliefs and values, memories, monitoring all the information around you. And I'm thinking about the universal mind again, and you being a brain cell in this sort of macro brain of the universe. I'm just hearing there's no reason to even be scared or have any fear. A shift in perception can usually eradicate a lot of fear, because it's usually in these moments that you start to feel more connected to source. You almost feel invincible, that life is eternal. You're deciding what to send to the conscious mind and what to store for a later time. I'm not going to try and make any sense out of what I just said, Sag, because it was meant to be given to you exactly like that. I think that you're all just supposed to do the thinking yourself. After all, you are a brain cell in the universal mind. What do we have at the crown to close out for Sag, please? Unbelievable. Four Swords, Libra energy. And if there was going to be one card in the entire deck that represents contemplation, here it is, right? Four of Swords. Ha'el, the God of Trinity. Mission, protects against slander and impious people. There's something monumental that I feel in this reading here, Sag. I just feel that you're all being aligned with the next chapter in your life that is so far removed and on this entirely new advanced timeline that you start to perceive everything that you've gone through up until this point as absolutely necessary. A kind of boot camp. It is really beyond words. I can just feel it. But one thing I do know is, as I close this reading, I feel it for myself. Everybody is thinking right now. Everybody is manifesting in this very moment, creating visions for your path moving forward. There is a kind of revolution taking place inside all of your energy. The past is gone, and the path ahead has been cleared. Sag, this is the message I have available to you, depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find all of my contact details in the description below this video. And thank you for your donation, Sag. Take care.